The thing that I find very perplexing right off the bat with this story that people um, need to be talking about here. The person in question is not some random woman who got attacked by Plattner and finally decided to come forward. This is apparently a woman who was dating him 5 years ago, was in a relationship with him, and says that he raped her one time over the course of their relationship. Now, again, I'm not saying that something didn't go down, and it's very plausible that it could have, but the thing you learn in politics is that this is a blood sport. People get killed for this. People get killed every day that you don't know about. You don't know where they exist. You don't know. We know a lot on this channel, and in the grand scheme of things, we don't know shit. You don't know that there are people that disappear every fucking day. The one thing I give credit that you give credit to when it comes to, and again, are people doing it for political points? When it comes to child trafficking, I have no doubt that they do. However, is child trafficking a crisis in the United States? It's a crisis all over the fucking world. And yet we want to pretend like it's not a real problem. But it is. There are people who disappear left and right. There are people who are assaulted, abused, mutilated every fucking day, not just in Gaza, but that's one of the worst places, if not the worst on the planet right now. And yet what we have here in the United States is an oligarchic bought and paid for system that people are so easily distracted. And let's be honest.
I agree, Jay. You have a pedophile in the fucking White House.
The people who want Plattner to win, the people who support him, are the working class. The bougie, affluent liberals that live in the big cities, that live in Boston and New York and San Francisco, Chicago, Los Angeles, Austin, Denver. You think those people like Graham Plattner? They think he's a shit kicker posing as a Democrat. You think they want him representing the Senate, even if it means Susan Collins, who is the last senator to confirm the Supreme Court justice who ended women's right to choose? Even if that's what's on the line, doesn't matter.
Right. Like Susan Collins is the better option for women than someone who's being accused by a woman from whatever the story is. And quite honestly, again, I'll say it, I will believe her completely. And I'd still pick him over Susan Collins.
Yeah.
So I'll say stipulated, counselor. Let's move on. Jesus, we have a rapist in the fucking White House, and y'all think that keeping Graham Plattner out of the Senate is going to solve something?
Well, again, this gets back to one of the biggest issues as to why bougie liberal women tend to be the very worst. And the reason they tend to be the very worst is because, and I use Shannon Watts as my own personal punching bag because that woman is the worst of the worst. This is a class issue. This is a class problem. If Shannon Watts needed her daughter, just hypothetically, needed to get an abortion, you think she's not getting it for her? You think she's not going to figure out how to get it done? Of course she is. The system is not designed for regular people. It's designed to benefit people like her.
Exactly. The bar is low. So why would you pick now and this race and Graham Plattner to make a moral position when clearly we have a fucking Congress full of pedophiles, rapists, and criminals of other sorts? Like, what the fuck?
And on top of everything else, and the reason I use Shannon Watts is that, and again, this isn't really a story, we knew this was coming, but Mallory McMorrow dropped out of the Senate race on Saturday, and now it is becoming painfully clear as the gap has closed that the reason she dropped out is because Abdul El Sayed was running away with the race and they needed to close the gap. So I
think she was always going to drop out. She was always in there for this reason. That was the plan, was to boost Stevens. That was it.
And so McMorrow drops out of the race. And what happens at the exact same time? Just out of coincidence, Jen. At a total coincidence.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get so distracted so easily.
So do you, and you do it when there's guests on. You do it when I'm talking. You just don't like it when it's done to you. Continue.
No.
Continue.
Are you snapping at me?
I'm just saying, don't point out what you do and then go because you do. You do it all the time. So continue.
We're honest because we don't have a stake in this other than what is at stake for our nation. We're not here to pick sides. We're not here to play footsies with the establishment. That's not what we do. There's a reason why so few people are watching a channel that has an sexual fit. That's terrible. Don't say that.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And if people don't like it, don't know what to tell you. Of course.
And not only that, and again, I'm not a big fan of Piker, but I will say this. Shannon Watts came out this weekend to say that I had endorsed McMorrow, my friend, and now I am endorsing. I'm not kidding. This is what she wrote. You want to talk about a shit-lib privileged woman of the highest order? I am now endorsing Haley Stevens for Senate because I could never support anybody who affiliates with Hassan Piker.
Oh, so we're having somebody who's trying to be taken seriously running for U.S. Senate who's making an endorsement decision based on a content creator's like image. Correct. Right. So this is somebody who's running to be a U.S. senator that is basing a decision on Hassan Piker.
No, she's saying that because she's a full-blown Zionist scumbag who is a total Islamophobe.
She was in there for this reason the entire time.
Yeah, yeah.
Her existence in that race was to be a spoiler for him.
And if that's not enough, because you know that this is always coordinated, it's always done for the purpose of giving a boost to the campaign that needs it, that's in the establishment's favor. So not only does McMorrow drop out, and it looks like the swath of the voters are likely going to go to Stevens, Emily's List just came out and endorsed Stevens.
Of course they did.
There's no coordination going on here.
I have hated Emily's List for my entire adult life. Fuck Emily's List.
Once you understand how these NGOs operate, once you understand that it is not about the cause, it is about the politics, it is about the cultivating of money and power. That is all it has ever been. That is all it ever will be. Now, is it 100% accurate that Plattner is definitely going to step down? We'll see. I mean, they're already reporting that that's his plan, but we'll see. Again, being defiant in many ways is why the Republicans are so successful. Democrats always lose because they're not defiant. They're cowards. And they always give in to the establishment order.
Look, it's our friend, Joseph. Emily's List is an organization started years ago to support pro-choice Democratic women candidates, which seems like a good thing, except for that it's like the epitome of white feminism and just really it doesn't serve any purpose other than circulating corporate Democrats through Congress now. So it's a bunch of bullshit.
It isn't a question of the Democrats are paid to lose. Here's what you have to understand about the Democratic Party. And this is what we've learned. And this is what everybody should learn. If it is a question of the Democrats winning with somebody who is against corporate special interests, then yes, they are to lose. This is why if Abdul El-Sayed and Graham Plattner make it to the general election, very likely they will win. And it is also very likely that even if Tallarico loses in Texas, that the Democrats, if they flip Maine and they take Michigan, that they probably will get the Senate, even if by the thinnest of margins. But if that means that the Democratic establishment has to, even for a second, kowtow to the working class and their demands that are going to get exponentially stronger and stronger as this country continues to sink into the abyss, they would rather Susan Collins win and they would rather Mike Rogers win. Because in the end, the two wings of the same corporate entity will always protect each other. Why do you think the Democratic establishment was secretly funding and assisting Ed Galreen against Thomas Massey. It's one small club and you're not invited. I know they say it's a big club, but in reality, it's a small one, and very select few are allowed to get in it. So the sooner you come to that realization, the sooner you realize why this happens. The sooner you also realize why this dog and pony show of the Charlie Kirk assassination is just that. It's a dog and pony show. It's a show trial. It's not real. We already know for sure that he was assassinated because he wasn't walking the line with his very powerful organization for the state of Israel. And so this is, I'm not kidding, this is a statement that I believe the lead attorney, the lead prosecutor made in the court case earlier today.
Just below that, where you can see the grass and the white tent, is where Charlie Kirk was sitting looking west, and we're on top of the Losi building.
And is this depicting a particular corner of the Losi rooftop?
Yes, it is.
And this is the top rooftop?
Yes.
Is it the same level where we observed the atrium that's to the north?
The atrium's up just a little bit higher, so this is the top level of 4.
Level 4, okay. And what area of the rooftop are we looking at here?
You're looking
as far as the gravel?
Southwest side of the Losi building.
Southwest side, okay. Is there a line of sight down into the courtyard area? Okay. What else do you observe on this exhibit that's significant to you, officer?
There was some disturbance in the gravel right where, and around the area where the area where the yellow marker is.
Which attorney is this? Who is this?
So this is the lead prosecutor.
Okay.
The lead prosecutor, which I feel like he's being dog walked by he's dog walking the police officer, to basically talk about the spot on the roof that Tyler Robinson evidently was shooting from.
Well, that's all they have. All they have, the only physical evidence they have, is that the kid was on that roof. They have no physical evidence connecting him to the actual shooting. They literally only have that. And yes, he is leading this witness.
Mm-hmm.
There was some disturbance that caught my eye there.
Okay. And does this photograph do it justice?
No.
And how so?
You can't really see the impression I saw the time of when I was up there on that day. I saw a distinct impression in the gravel, and this does not show that.
Okay, so you could see more with the naked eye?
Yes.
Okay.
That is
Objection.
Leading, and that's the end of your case. Your case is over. They just asked him, do you have the physical evidence? And he just said, well, I saw it with my eyes.
Well, I don't understand. Okay, so this is this is what we're saying. This is a preliminary hearing. So that is sort of the fact. So that if you're in a preliminary hearing, that you're not necessarily having rules of evidence and stuff that are applying in the same way. I don't know what this hearing is about in particular. Do you know what this hearing is for?
The whole purpose of this hearing is to convince that we already know this is going to a criminal trial. They feel that the whole purpose is this is the disclosure phase of the preliminary hearing to basically show that there is enough evidence to make this a trial. It doesn't matter if there's evidence or not, it's going to trial. There is no situation here where this is getting thrown out. This is
I don't know. I don't know because I don't see how it also goes through a trial. Sort of like Mangione. I don't see how this can go to trial. They don't have enough evidence for this. So let's say hypothetically, it goes to trial. The evidence is so compromised that it will make the OJ situation look like, child's play.
And of course, one of the aces in the hole that we know that the establishment will pull is that Fetterman, I think, is inevitably going to switch to the Republican Party in Pennsylvania anyway.
Good riddance.
Yeah, I think that's
what
going to
happen. What does it matter to me if he's a Democrat or Republican? He's a total piece of shit.
Tony, what other option was there? There was Janet Mills, another geriatric, who's a total corporate.
Tony, still going with that. My primary goal is stopping a genocide right now. That's it. I'm like in a triage situation. That's the only fucking thing that matters to me right now more than anything. And so, I'm still going with the guy with a credible grape allegation. I am. Because quite honestly, that just does make him fit in better there.
Yeah. And listen, nobody has been better in defense of Charlie Kirk than Candace Owens. We know that. And she has done admirable work to do so. She also brought up a very good point when she sat down with Shawn Ryan last week regarding what we've been talking about all night, which is most, if not all, of what we see is just, it's an illusion. It's an illusion. You have an illusion of choice. Most of the time, the things that you want to do needs to be the autopsy into the case today. Yeah, they can't have a case.
How can you possibly get a beyond a reasonable doubt conviction without an autopsy? And I've been saying this since it happened.
It has also been suggested that Erica Kirk was mic'd up when she went over to Charlie's casket the day after the assassination, or whatever it was. It's not real. I'm not saying we're living in a simulation, although it's possible we could be.
I'm just saying you can't have a beyond a reasonable doubt conviction without an autopsy. That's what I'm going to say. I don't see how you could do that.
Here's Candace.
So if the elections are phony, then why do they give a shit about the act?
Because the illusion matters.
Why does it matter?
Because think about if truly tomorrow they came out and said, your vote doesn't mean anything. We've been running the election since the beginning of time. We kill people in broad daylight. Yeah, we did JFK. We did Charlie and we're going to keep doing whatever the hell we want. So F you.
You think something would actually happen?
Yeah. Because it's actually something Charlie said to me when we were traveling once. He said, one of his little pop quizzes, what is one thing that every civilization that has ever had slavery since the beginning of human history, what is one thing that every single one of those civilizations has in common?
I don't know.
I didn't know either. And he said there were always more slaves than masters.
What she's basically saying here is that we have the capacity to have a revolution. Do we have it in us to actually fight for it? I mean, if you want to talk about the people who are truly in charge, in terms of people who truly command the power, you look at every aspect, Jen, and I like to call it audience, but I call it team, because we're team here. We're team revolutionary change. It is such a mockery of a trial, of an idea that there wasn't a grand conspiracy to assassinate this man. The amount of power he wielded with Turning Point USA, the amount of impact he had, especially amongst the youth, and how much of an impact he was having, driving them away from Israel, especially the war with Iran, which most people believe is the reason he was killed, because he told the president of the United States not to go to war, and they had to delay it basically a year as a result. Yeah, I do have a hard time having faith. I mean, listen, is it possible that elections are real? Maybe they are, but Jen, if you found out tomorrow that no, the elections are all fake, would it surprise you?
No, I'm pretty sure they are. So I don't know why you're saying that like it's a hypothetical. I think it's ridiculous. The whole thing is stupid. So I don't know why we even bother. What's interesting is we really are in the Truman Show with the amount of people that take it seriously, right? Like we really believe that there's this America, there's this. We're in the Truman Show, people. It's absurd. We don't have any more rights than anybody does in China, than anybody does anywhere else. We only have a better illusion of those rights. But clearly, if you try to do anything with those rights, you see how that works.
You're right.
So no, I don't think our electoral process is more than an illusion.
That always stuck with me. The few are able to get all of us to behave. So what they fear is a real revolution. That's why they always stoke the flames of internal unrest, because if all of us were in lockstep and we were like, let's go kill these pedophiles, let's go take care of business, that's the biggest threat to the system. A revolution that they don't control. So instead, they create revolutions over stupidity. Trans bathroom rights. Keep them focused and arguing about stuff that doesn't matter at all.
Wait a second. Pause
BLM,
that.
racial strife.
That's very rich coming from you, Candace, when you've spent so much time obsessing about the genitalia of Bridget Macron.
That's true.
Like, I don't.
Well, I will say one thing. I've never heard Candace, like these other channels, go absolutely ballistic over everyday people. If you're going to punch at anybody, at least she punches at one of the most powerful people.
No, if you're going to punch at people, punch at them for something that matters, something that's unjust, something that that's hurting other people, not about their genitals.
That's fair.
Jesus.
You know, why isn't there a George Floyd Square? This is fodder for idiots. While they buy islands, they take up land, they destroy heritage, they rewrite history. 20 years from now, they'll say, you already heard, I think, Jerry Seinfeld say, Palestine doesn't exist. He's a man of the future. They'll rewrite history. They'll say they were the victims. It all started on October 7th. And they'll wipe away entire identities. I mean, good for the people in Albania who are standing up to the Israeli settlers right now. Don't know what their plan is there, but something's going on. And that's their biggest threat. So they have to get you to believe in the illusion of elections, because you have to think you can change it and that your voice matters.
Some people evolve, guys.
I don't know about that. Again, as somebody who, like, I don't give a shit one way or the other about Candace Owens. I really don't. I don't have really any thoughts about her one way or the other. I don't give a shit one way or the other about her. Really don't.
Anyway, Jen is not so cheery about Candace, but I appreciate her using her platform, trying to bring the righteous attention that is needed to this cause. And when somebody with a platform of that size is saying what she is saying, it's how revolutions begin. Because enough people start to hear it and they realize that they're not alone. The true fear is that people who think revolutionary are people who think that we're just the fringe. We're not exactly the majority that are thinking like this. But in reality, there's probably tens of millions of people in this country right now who are thinking exactly like how she was just talking. And that to me matters. If there's ancillary, more on the periphery issues that people have big disagreements with Candace on, or just don't like the way she approaches it, that's understandable. But with that being said, you can't deny that major change is coming. And we're all a part of it. We are in this because we know that revolutionary change is inevitable, and we are a part of it. And we get a bigger boost when somebody like Candace not only points out the show trial that is Charlie Kirk and Tyler Robinson, but also the illusion of thinking that we could ever vote our way out of it. And when somebody with that platform says, you will not vote your way out of this, that stokes the revolutionary flame even higher.